Yeah, see, I'm talking about look at yourself in the mirror, but it's always good to have a reflection. So, yes, welcome everyone. It's Thriving Thursday Live. And so we are here again this evening. So if you guys haven't before, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and get the notifications when we go live. And so we're live every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. And so your comments, your subscriptions all mean very much, very well. It helps us reach more in the community. And so continue to follow us on social media, but definitely go ahead and subscribe and like to this channel. So I want to welcome everyone. If you have an audience that you can join in, a friend, a family member that you can send them a note. Say, hey, First Home Alliance is live. Let's go. Let's watch them tonight. Go ahead, Charlene. Go ahead and tell our audience what.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Tonight, again, we got a wonderful speaker, Mr. Kite Golden. Before we get into I say speaker, but again, it's a conversation, so we all fixing to talk. So before we get into that conversation, let me tell you a little bit about First Home Alliance, who we are, what we do, the services that we provide, and where we provide those services. So First Home Alliance, we are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency established by our president and founder, Mr. Larry J. Laws. Inception came from his mother purchased her first home at the age of 65. So after serving his country, he decided to serve his community. It has been now I think we're going into 24 years, almost 24 years serving our community. And the services that First Home Alliance provide, we provide pre-purchase counseling as well as education. Counseling, what does that mean? I mean, I want to buy a house. I've Googled it, and all I get is classes, which a lot of times when you want to purchase a home and you Google it, that's what you're going to see, a lot of first-time home buyer classes. But First Home Alliance, we take it a little step further. You are assigned to a counselor who's going to help you build that team that is usually required in that transaction. So that's our pre-purchase counseling. We also offer education, which is our first time homebuyers class that we have usually once a month in the Northern Virginia area. It's actually our next class is going to be this Saturday, February 21st at the McCourt Building, and we'll talk to you about that again when we get into our introduction, excuse me, our announcement at the end of our conversation. So that is our pre-purchase counseling and education. We also offer loss mitigation services. And sometimes people be like, Charlene, what do you do? Are you a realtor? No, I'm not a realtor. When I talk about loss mitigation services, that means you are a homeowner. And you're currently experiencing some sort of hardship, whether it be through death, disability, divorce, unemployment, maybe it's a medical situation. Long story short, you've gotten behind on your mortgage. First Home Alliance comes in, acts as an advocate on your behalf to do what? We want to make sure that you are able to sustain. But the biggest thing is we want to make sure that you do not experience foreclosure. And so we again act as an advocate on your behalf to communicate with you and the servicer to make sure that you can have the best outcome. And again, the number one thing is to make sure that you do not experience foreclosure. So that is our loss mitigation services that we offer. We also offer rental counseling, debt budget management, along with emergency preparedness services. And that right there is like, what is that? Again, nobody expected COVID to take place. And so, we help individuals be prepared for situations like that. Those are the services that First Home Alliance offer. We offer these services in Virginia, also in Maryland, as well as the south side of Chicago. But again, that does not mean anything to us. If you are located in the United States, virtually we can touch you. So any of those services piqued your interest that I just went over, again, listen to this conversation. At the end, you can find out how you can begin receiving those services. All right, Larry, I will throw it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Charlene. Yes. And so tonight we're going to continue this conversation that we're having, a live conversation with a longtime partner and friend, a real estate broker, Kite Golden. And so, Charlene, I picked up on something she said that which we all do, when we need to search for something, we Google it. And so it's okay to Google if you're trying to find out more information. But that's one of the answers that I've gotten when someone is looking for a professional to help them with different things. And maybe someone want to think about Googling when you're talking about a real estate agent. And so that is one of the options. You can Google a real estate agent, but we're telling you, we're going to tell you that some good ways to come up to find a real estate agent. And so First Home Alliance is one of those resources, and I think it's better than Google. We work with some professionals, and Kite Golden is one of those professionals in the field that here to help you along your real estate journey. Welcome, Kite.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. Doing just fine. Yes. So how's it going today?
Going pretty good. This has been busy, but doing pretty good.
Okay. All right. And so, yes. And so we got to get into this tonight. And I see we're talking about some rates and things of that sort, and carry on, just getting people through situations, that maybe if they're cloudy, we want to make it clear. If they stuck, we want to get them unstuck, And so talk to us about, some of the controls that you want to look at. That you want to get together before making that decision, and what do rate have to do with it?
So some of the controls that you can do before you get to diving into purchasing a home is definitely working on your credit, paying some things off, and it all starts with getting with an expert. I always tell people, when you go to the doctor, you don't go in there. I mean, you tell the doctor where your pain is or where your symptoms are, but you don't go in the doctor telling the doctor, hey, well, I think you should give me 500 grams of this, medicine instead of what you're giving me, because you don't have a clue. That's what that doctor went to school for. That's what they've been trained to do. So I think the first step would always be in your control is first take, like all the series we did, the buyer in the mirror, take ownership of you, of who you are and what's stopping you, and then move out away from that fear and get with a good place like First Home Alliance. That's a great start because you guys are, to me, have all of the lanes that can help a buyer or a seller in this situation. So if you're not certain of what to do and how to take control, get with First Home Alliance, and they will definitely sit down with you and help you. I think that's the first step, is sitting down and looking at your credit and knowing where you at, and that's how you start to take that control.
Yes, Kite, in reference to, because there's certain things we can control and there's some things that we can't, Okay. And I know coaching and credit counseling is definitely a great part of that. But how do you think in reference to a good loan officer and lender, how important is that in building a relationship with them as well?
Yeah, it's very important, because I have turned away from some lenders that I've given clients to, and everybody's situation is different. So some clients may not be ready to purchase right now. They may need a 3-month to 6-month or even a year process. So again, back to how I deal with my real estate business is I take it very personal. I want to see everyone win. If you have the mindset to buy, you will win. It's just a matter of time. You understand what I'm saying? So whether it's a 6-month time or a year time or a 2-year time. So having a good lender means a lot, because that lender, if they really care about you and want to help you, no matter what your credit score is, they're going to tell you what you need to do to get your scores up to be able to purchase that home.
Yes. Super. Now, a person come to you and some may have a pre-qualification and some may have a pre-approval. Do you look at that any differently if you're going through with putting together their offer?
Yes, we don't like pre-qualification.
Oh, you don't?
No, because
like a pre-qual. I can write up a pre-qual real quick. Come on now, why you don't like that?
So a pre-qualification, I hate to say it this way, is a buyer can lie.
Really?
And a lot of times it's not that they're lying, they just don't understand the loan process. Some buyers may make $40,000 a year, but work a ton of overtime that puts them at $75,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on if that underwriter is going to accept that, is going to determine if that loan will get approved. So when you do a pre-qualification, you're just basically telling the lender over the phone or just doing a light app on the phone or online saying these different things, but the lender doesn't collect no documentation. So it's just off of he say. So it's off of, or she say. So it's off of what you're telling the lender, and the lender saying, oh, well, what they're telling me looks good. So we're going to give you the pre-qualification. And that's why we don't like to accept it, because it's not a pre-approval.
Okay. And so you're basically, for a buyer to come there with pre-qual, you may not go all the way through and putting together an offer. I mean, you can discuss with them maybe where they are in the process, but you're not going to go out there and put a contract in.
Well, I mean, because I've seen these traps before, I'm going to, if my client, if it's a referral client or any client that comes along and say, hey, I already have a lender, I have a pre-qualification, can you help me find a home? I'm going to, before we even go out, I'm going to say, hey, let me speak to your lender, because this is the reason why. Pre-qualification is only this. What did you do to get that pre-qualification? And if they've done what we like to see, most of the time has already been underwritten by the lender, have already collected documents.
Yes.
It's just basically based on them finding a home, appraisal, yada, 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 which is the standard. Then we don't want to deal with that, because we know that a seller is not going to take that. And we wouldn't take that. I wouldn't tell my client to take a pre-qualification.
Mm-hmm.
All right, super.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I really appreciate that. And for our buyers, Charlene, and so for that pre-qualification, what's going to be some of the requirements for that lender that you think for that lender to get someone, get someone pre-approved?
I was gonna say, for the pre-qual, just get your lot together.
How they gonna get that pre-approved?
Get your lot together for the pre-qual. I'm just joking, y'all. For the pre-approval, be prepared, y'all. Have your paychecks, and it ain't nothing that your cousin drew up for you. Like, have that for real verification of income. All right. So you want to have those 30-day paycheck stubs together. You do want to have your assets, so your bank statements. These days, they're not asking for 1040s. Back in the day, they used to ask for your tax returns. Now, all you got to do is just show your W-2s. And so you want to have all what they say, your ducks in a row. So if you say you make 80, you need to have a piece of paper to show that you make 80. And again, not nothing that, Cousin Ray or, Cousin Kevin have come up with. It's the stuff that you're going to get actually from your employer.
Yes. Yeah. So, so you got to show, I mean, you got to, I don't want to get into what you have to put up or anything, but you got to prove, you got to show some proof there and get, show that you approve for that, and get an underwriter to, before they give you that letter, send you pre-approval.
Definitely. Because there's been some crazy stuff, y'all, in our industry. There's been some crazy stuff that has happened. And because of that crazy stuff that happened, now they definitely dot I's and cross T's and all of that good stuff.
Yeah. And you don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste money, because money will be spent. The first step of writing a contract is, once it's approved, is your home inspection. That can run you from $300 to maybe $700-800. Depends on where you're buying at. If you're buying in an area that's a rural area, you got to do a well test plus a septic test. So, and you got to do the regular inspection. So, you can spend almost $1,000 on the inspection, pay for an appraisal, and then all of a sudden the lender calls you and says, well, I can't get the underwriting to take or accept your overtime because you haven't been doing it for 2 years.
Right.
And you're steady saying, well, I make 80,000 or 90. Yeah, but it's overtime. Overtime is not considered guaranteed money. Now, if you probably do it for 2 years, I think the lender can accept it. But if it's only 1 year, they can't accept it, because you may not make that next year. So,
do I get my money back?
No, you don't get your money back at all.
We talking about. I heard you talk about time and wasting time. what about the cost of waiting? Even the cost of preparing, because you should prepare yourself and not wait until you're ready to, if you want to say, not wait till you get ready to buy. You want to be ready. You want to start getting ready, and you want to get ready. Because,
right.
If you are ready, then you don't have to and right?
Right there.
Yeah. You stay ready.
You stay ready. You ain't trying to get ready.
Stay ready. And so,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so in that process of that readiness, getting your stuff together, how important is that in getting that stuff ready?
So to me, it's funny you said that, because this just came to my mind, and I'm a Christian, right? So we believe in Jesus Christ, and how people say, "Well, I'm not ready to give myself to the Lord until I'm ready to give myself." Well, that not being ready or thinking that you got to be ready can cost you some things.
It sure can.
So it's like it's one of the
hell to pay, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's like in church, we tell people, look, God will fix you up. Just come to us.
Right.
So, just come to him. So it's the same concept if you look at it. Like, I don't care about the credit score. I don't care about where you at. If you make your mind up to say, I am ready to do it. Like I said at the beginning, when you make your mind up to say you want to buy, you will win. It's just a matter of when. It'll be 6 months from now. It'll be a year from now. It'll be 3 months from now. If you make your mind up and stay consistent and get with the right people, you will be able to purchase. That's the bottom line. So that cost can cost you a lot. It can cost you. It can cost you for prices to go up. It can definitely cost you that. It can cost you missing out on a certain program. I know you guys deal with a lot of programs, Spark and things like that. If you would have been ready maybe 6 months ago and did what we told you to do and come to us, when that Spark money came, you could have been one of those people that could have got it. But because you didn't do that, you waited, and now we have to spend time bandaging and working on your credit when you could have been ready 6 months ago. Yeah. So those are the costly things that can cost you.
Yes, because people are, we may not be in transition now. Okay. Yeah. Matter of fact, we may not be in transition. So you're going to move, or it's going to happen. And so more people probably wait until, June, July, August, September. But it is September. I mean, it's February now. Yeah. So what are you waiting on? Are you waiting to get ready in May or April prior to transition in June? Are you waiting for the springtime and we're in winter? We know behind one season is the next.
Right.
And so get yourself ready. In that cost of waiting, the cost of waiting. Just Charlene, we just had that First Home Dream program. And when that opportunity opened up, just give it an estimated time it was before it was exhausted.
Gone?
Yes.
And I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I'm not gonna sit here and tell no bald face lie. I'm gonna be honest. Larry, let's be honest. That money was really gone in 7 days. Like we got in 7 days, I could say that we got between 50 to 100 applications, right? We know that there's no way we could fund 50 to 100 applications. So within 7 days, getting that many applications, Larry had to pull the trigger and say, hey, we can't take any more. And that was just in 7 days. There's no way that we can take any more.
And people, we're talking about $12 million. $12 million of loans, $12 million of assets, of wealth for first generation home buyers. Mm-hmm. And so once that the floodgate was open, it immediately, we was overwhelmed by the phone calls and applications, and but hardly anyone that came in and submitted the application. Some of them jumped right on it and they wasn't ready. Now she said within 7 days we had applications coming in. It was still taking individuals 7 days and 14 days and 20 days. Some of them that put in an application still didn't make it through because it had closed out before they could get all their paperwork together. You know, where they couldn't find their bank statements, they couldn't find I don't know, they could I don't know, they couldn't find their W-2s.
And then let's be honest, they didn't have a property. Some of them didn't have a property.
Well, that's some of the something that some people may not be exactly have that property, but it's nothing wrong with you having your bank statements every month,
Right.
downloading them, having them standing by. There's nothing wrong with record keeping and keeping up with your taxes and your W-2s and having those already. And so there's a lot of things that there's nothing wrong with pulling your credit every month to know what your credit report looked like and not have to wait until you talk to a lender or a counselor. So there's a lot of things that you can do to stay ready and stay prepared by just record keeping. So when it's time, you know, you have your financial records ready.
For that trigger.
Ask for those things, you got it.
Most lenders now also are doing soft pulls now.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of lenders are doing that instead of doing a hard pull to see where things are with the credit, and things like that. So
yes.
And that it goes back to what we talked about in the beginning in reference to First Home Alliance Services and other HUD organization services. You want your counselor, you know how realtors have a relationship and lenders have a relationship. I feel like people should build that relationship with the counselor in the very beginning, because like Larry is saying, all of this paperwork that is required, you got a great relationship with your counselor. That package is already ready.
That's
it's
right.
like Kite just said, we ready, just pull on the trigger. When you ready, I'm ready. Yeah. So just how you build that relationship with your agent and your lender, do the same thing with your housing counselor.
Yes. And that's what we do, is help you build that team. So we're gonna do a manual, where see where you qualify, what you may qualify, but we're not going to give you approval. We're not a lender. And so that's why people are confused about a housing counselor. What is your role? Well, we're here to coach you. We're here to guide you. We're here to mentor you. And sort of like, start give, if you got a cold, we can give you some cough syrup to get you well, so that when it's time to go talk to that lender, you have your ducks in order, you have your paperwork, and the lender, you don't have to worry about a pre-qual. You're going to get a pre-qualification, because we got to ensure that you have what it takes to get the pre-qual, and what your scores will be. You can get that ready before you even go talk to a lender. And please, I know that you love real estate agents. We do. We love real estate agents. We love brokers. Kite and the rest of the real estate have no problem with marketing. they don't have no problem with marketing. A lot of them, you see their pictures on the signs. They have the picture on their the business card. And so they're marketing. And yes, but they want you to build a relationship. They want to be a member of your team, but come together with a strong team where you have a mentor, you have a guide, you have a counselor, and you have a lender, and you can start building that relationship with the real estate agent as well. So we do want you to have a team. We want you to be ready. And so be ready is basically doing those things to keep yourself ready. And so when you are ready, then when it comes to rates and things of that sort, Kite, is there a different strategy in reference for you, how you operate in reference to whether the rate is high or low, if the person is ready?
So you mean like if I had a buyer that is ready to buy, and
yes.
So my strategy is pretty much, I don't let the rates determine anything unless it's determining their bottom line for them. Because, of course, if the rates go up tremendously high, it may decrease my client's buying power. So that's the only time I usually think about that. Other than that, I just continue to move forward, and my strategy is dealing with that seller, trying to come up with a good plan of looking at, how long the property's been on the market, things like that. Questions I ask the listing agent, if it's a vacant property. A lot of people, I hate to say it, a lot of people going through divorces. So you have a lot of properties that people are telling you, agents are literally telling you like, hey, this has been empty for 2 years. They divorced. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're giving you hints like these people may want to move this property.
Yes.
Yeah. And if the rate's a little bit higher, I say, hey, you got down payment assistance or down payment money plus you got 3%. Because I usually tell people do 3.5 plus 3%. So I usually try to say save 6.5. If you go through a program, that's a plus for you because you got extra money put to the side. But if you get 3% closing help from the seller, the lender may say, hey, you pay $2,500 or $3,500. I can take your point down a point or, anything. So, those are things that I look for when it comes to that. I don't get caught up in the rates too much. Unless it's like a 5% rate my client has, now all of a sudden they're at 7%. Then yes, we're going to be concerned because my client buying power has totally changed.
Yes. And and just me personally, I don't really recall, the rate making a decision for me. It was really the timing. If I was transition, I was transition. I mean, when it's time to PCS, you PCS. And so if you're gonna rent or purchase, you make the decision. You're gonna rent or you're gonna purchase. And you already got your mind up to purchase, then you purchase. And so
the rate should never determine that.
Never.
Especially
what's the number one thing that we say in this industry? Date the rate, marry the house.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have to, because rates change, right?
Just like partners. Yeah,
we got proven records of rates going up, rates going down. So you have to just understand that 5% or 6% has been here for a while. It's going to be here to stay right now. So we just got to get used to it. That's just what it is,
And so and so if a person is actually ready, do you think that takes some of the edge off, if you want to call it the anxiety? If they are ready, they have talked to a counselor, they've talked to their lender, and they have that relationship with the realtor. How is the difference in their their feelings, in reference to whether they're ready or not, if they have that supporting team?
If they have that supporting team, it means a lot. Like I noticed that, so normally what I do with my clients is when I get a first-time home buyer, I sit down with them and try to explain the entire process with them. What to expect, what to look for, because I want to give them more information to be able to ask me questions. When I sit down with a client that has went through First Home Alliance, what I love about that is that they're already ready to go. They've been coached. They've, all the cobwebs have been cleaned out. So they're ready to go. They've been coached. They know what their budget is. They know exactly kind of like what they're trying to do. And they trust me as a realtor because they know that I'm a community partner. And that means a lot. So, I think working with a client that is ready, it helps the process. It definitely helps the process because they know what to expect. Whereas though a client that don't know. And that's the reason why I sit down with my buyers, first-time home buyers, and tell them, because a lot of buyers didn't know about earnest money deposit. So you're steady taking them look at houses, and then you say, okay, we're going to write this offer. I'm putting in $3,000 of earnest money. Is that okay? $3,000? When?
When I got planned, they take cars.
I'm a veteran. I didn't think I had to do a down payment.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they'd be like, yeah, there you go. That's the key word. When I get paid. So, things like that, you want to get those things up front and get them out the way before you start going out driving, looking at 15, 20 houses and letting them make a decision. So being ready as a client makes the transaction better, smoother, having a great team. Like I talk to you guys all the time. I talk to Charlene all the time when we have a client. We collab on ways to make it better for the client. And that means a lot. I can't tell a buyer to use what lender that I want them to use. They have a choice, but it makes it easier when you use a lender that the realtor at least knows or have a relationship with, because they can do things a lot different. Even title companies. I have a title person. I can call her at 8:30 at night and say, hey, this is not making sense. Can you explain this so I can explain to my client? Even lenders, hey, I don't understand this. My client don't understand. I remember I used to hate buyers not buyers. I'm sorry. I don't hate buyers, but I used to hate when a buyer has a lender way in California, and man, they be 3 hours behind, and you're trying to get in touch with them, and it's a problem, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning, your client blowing your phone up, and it's 7 o'clock over there, or 6 o'clock over there, and you gotta wait until, man, and then the lender, then the listing agent is calling you, hey, my client is going off. Have you talked to the lender yet? And the lender know he did something wrong, and they ducking because they way over there.
So I think that comes back to what we talked about in terms of building a team and rapport and relationships.
Yeah. I used to always tell people I like somebody I can go and touch.
Right. No, it makes a difference.
It
makes a difference. But Larry, you asked that question about in reference to, do you feel like people, I guess, react, or is a difference between a buyer who has been educated versus a buyer that hasn't? And I've never been in a car salesman, but I've had a lot of clients that are car salesmen. And one, they say this: women are better negotiators when it comes to purchasing a car. That's one. So let me put that out there. But two, you
learn, like, I don't never heard that.
Right. Women are better negotiators. Fight me. It's the truth.
Well, what is a car? But I don't with my partner that I have.
I was about to say,
she's a better negotiator on any purchase.
I was about to say, best for hands down.
Any purchase,
hands down.
Or even
I feel like women are better.
Even real estate, till when it get down to the nitty gritty, because they have she have an ear for different between $1 and $1. So she have that. Maybe some of the technical stuff, but no, when it comes to purchases, she's there.
So, like I said, women are better. But when it comes down to it, I always say this in our first time homebuyers class: when you educate yourself, whether it be a purchase, a home, a car, what have you, you go into the transaction probably just a little bit, I'm not going to say cocky, but just a little bit more aware of yourself, assured of the transaction, because you understand the terms that Kite is saying, or you may understand the terms that the lender is saying. You get earnest money deposit, you get closing costs, down payment, and all this other stuff because you prepared yourself for the transaction. So, going back to that question, I truly believe that when our clients and clients in general educate themselves, take that first time home buyers class, get the book that I call it our Bible, and read it, you go into that transaction, I think, with your chest out, because you know what you're talking about, you know what you want, you've done your research. So I definitely think educating yourself prior to beginning this process is extremely important. Important.
No, it definitely is. And like you just said, knowing, I've had buyers be like, I just want to know, what I'm up against. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't mean they can't do it. They just want to know, you know what I'm saying? How much they need to put away, or if they got to pull money, especially if a buyer makes good money and, they bringing home $7,000 and $8,000 a month, and they're looking to buy in 6 months. They're like, well, how much do I need to have? And you give them a real number, and they say, okay, great. So I'll start putting away maybe $3,000 or $4,000 a month, you know what I'm saying, to get to that number. So like you said, being educated means a lot. It definitely means a lot. And that's why I thrive on that, because I feel like as a realtor, you want to get all this stuff up front so that way, because we don't get paid an hourly rate. We don't charge. Some realtors may charge a flat fee. I don't. So I want to know where you are. I wouldn't want a doctor operating on me and he didn't know what he was operating on for. But I'm just gonna cut you open and we'll figure it out when I cut you open. No, that's
And they do that though, Kite. It's called exploratory surgery.
No, I'm not doing that. So you understand what I'm saying? And even when you, like Larry said, even when you go to have surgery or something, you're gonna ask questions. Hey, okay, so you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. Okay, and after this is what's gonna happen. It makes you feel more comfortable to know exactly this is what they're doing. And you notice that's why doctors explain it. that way. Hey, I'm gonna go in and do this and do that and text this to that, and hopefully everything will be fine and you will be good to
See
go.
what happens.
And it makes you feel more confident, like you said, Charlene. So it comes all in line, makes you feel more confident and say, okay, I'm gonna get through this surgery. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think overall, when it comes to buying and purchasing, people said, the majority of people purchase on emotions. If it feels good, I'll buy it. If it feels good, I'll be ready for this. But how important it is when we're talking about this, when it comes down to money talks and other stuff, Walt, how important it is when you really got your figures together, when that stands strong with you versus in just having a good feeling.
When you have, for me as a realtor, I can't deal with the emotion. The emotion is hard.
Sound like Larry.
Because
I'll leave. I'll come back when you finish going through those.
Yeah, Larry be like, "Oh, you about to cry? Hold on, I'll be right back."
I mean, emotion is hard because you have some buyers that don't have it all together, but they want to buy, or they have these crazy numbers. They have this crazy house in their head and everything that they want, but their money does not. It's the saying, what they say,
your budget, champagne taste.
Champagne taste, yeah. And so
more liquor, 80 is beer. That's most.
It's hard to bring them down, but you have to. But I've learned now in this field, I got to be real and just tell them the truth. Like, hey, this is where you're going to be looking, and be honest with them, because if you don't do that, they will have you on a wild goose chase.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lady like that, and she was looking, and she was approved for a certain amount, and she was looking in the Baltimore area, and I took a look at about 20 houses in Baltimore, and didn't pick none of them. Then she started sending me stuff that it was just crazy, And then she just finally, I said, "Look, you're not going to find what you're looking for that price."
Mm-hmm.
And then you keep saying you want these fixer-uppers, you're going FHA. Mm-hmm. So you got to do a 203K, and still your price range is going to have to go up because the houses you're sending me are 50, 60 to 100 grand worth of work. So yeah, you're buying because of the acreage, you're buying because of the secludedness, but you're not going to get that particular house because she finally got it. And got her mom to going along with her. Now she's looking like $500,000, and we're finding nice houses, and it makes sense now. So it just
that payment makes sense. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing that people have to really.
Yeah. So I think it made sense, but somebody programmed in her mind that it was better to buy like a fixer-upper because of the land and stuff. And again, this all ties back to what Larry said, and you guys were saying education. In her mind, she thought, if I buy a house with 8 acres, I could build multiple houses for my kids. Well, I told her, hey, that house is only approved for a 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom septic tank. So you can't, you have to get it approved by the county. And the county may not approve it because if it's a county where they're saying 1 house per 8 acres, you're just stuck with 8 acres. You see what I'm saying?
Go on, throw some parties, charge people what? Mm-hmm.
So people don't look at that stuff. They just automatically, that's that emotion going into it and not allowing it. But once she came to reality that, okay, now I can get what I want. I had to go up some. Now I can do it. Now her reality has changed. Her mindset has changed. That emotion has changed. Now it's out of it. Now it's okay. I can shop now. You see what I'm saying?
Well, how do you take the emotions out of it?
You just it's hard for some buyers.
Yeah.
It's hard for some buyers.
Yeah. Well, like I said, show them the facts.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Show them the numbers.
Yeah, show them numbers. Yeah. Those numbers, they
numbers don't lie.
They're all equal, Right. 1 + 1 = 2,
Right.
So, what do it feel like too? I'm not sure. Let's move the feeling and go with the reality.
Yeah. That's what you have to do.
Again, that is definitely hard. And then what I found is sometimes it's nostalgic for some people. Some people are looking for some things that they may have grew up with, you know. Oh, my mom had a fireplace, or my mom had a brick house, so you know I really want that, and blah blah blah, and not understanding, you know, that's gonna cost or what have you. So I feel like nostalgia sometimes plays a role in this home buying process too.
Yeah, and also listening to other people always is the number one detour to me.
And it's a blessing and a curse, though.
Yeah, they listen to people that probably bought 20 years ago. They listen to people that don't own a home. They listen to people that says, "Oh, you're crazy." Trump we don't know what he's going to do. You know, it's just all types of fear
factors. Yeah.
Yep.
And again, it's why it's very important to build yourself with, you know, a good team that's gonna, you know, keep you grounded. You know, and we'll make sure that you're ready. And so, what about this from a wealth perspective? You know, in making these decisions, and I think it probably go back to timing and things of that sort. But looking at so, and I think you had the story also, like Kite, where you had purchased some time ago. I think it was an investment property in that time, and able to build wealth. And where if you would have tried to save that money up versus invested into real estate, you know, how much of a wealth that you was able to gain putting it into real estate rather than putting it into a savings account?
So I think that when you put in a real estate like that, I mean, I love talking like this because this is my thing. Buying real estate for a wealth process, especially as an investor, you're going to gain, to me, more interest than you would gain from a bank. So I'm gonna use this as an example. I purchased a house in Tennessee, and I think I put down, because it was a property, it was like $20,000 that I put down. Closing costs came together probably about $35,000 or $30,000, right? So off that property, the residual is only $400 a month. Now, most people would say, "Oh, that's no money," you know. Where did my $35,000 go? But I explained to people, my 35 sitting in the bank was only getting me about $5 to $10, maybe even $20 a year. Off my 35, which is in the house, still in the house, it's getting me $400 a month.
Right.
So you can do the math right there and see the wealth behind that. Because now I've turned it into a vehicle or a tool to create an income stream for me. And so when you look at a bank just saving, that's not the way for me. If I have a lump sum of money, I'm going to find a way to put that money into some real estate to be able to create that money, you know, that residual back, because I feel like, okay, I'm getting, and if things got real bad and I needed to sell, okay, I'll get my 35 back, you know. But that property has been making me $400 a month. So
for how long? And how long have you had the property now?
I've had the property for going on 2 years now.
Yes.
So 400 times 12.
Yeah, I'll just share this. I will give the credit to Marion Goldman, listening to one of his videos. And but I have, of course, did the math before. I've thought about the math. I mean, we're talking about over some years ago when I was about 20 years old, when I was thinking about when I would become a millionaire. And so, and also understood what a millionaire meant. A lot of people don't understand what a millionaire is. And so, but actually, if you had $1 million asset, or you had $1 million, and if that was your goal for retirement, and you did not want it to be exhausted, you could actually have the $1 million to remain. But what you do is live off the interest. At about 6% interest on $1 million, it gives you about I think $60,000 a year. So you took $1 million, put it in the bank, it will give you $60,000 a year, about 6%. That's about $5,000 a month. And so some individuals wait and try to save that $1 million when they're 65, 70 years old. And, so you've done all this time, and then maybe when you're 65 or 70 years old, you have your $1 million, and now you have, okay, now you're going to get $5,000 a month. But if you actually take the money and put it to work, rather than let it set and accumulate to $1 million, you put it to work. By the time you get less of that age, those in assets could actually start paying you, and will start paying you in excess of the money that you would get if you waited until you attained $1 million.
Yeah.
So you put the money to work for you, and investing in that money, reinvesting it into real estate, can start producing residual incomes, and you can live, if you want to say, the lifestyle of a millionaire. And a lifestyle of a millionaire is different from actually these guys that you see with the shiny stuff on and things like that.
Right.
Yeah,
You're driving a Toyota Camry, okay?
Yeah. So a lot of people, but that's good you saying that, because a lot of people don't sit down and look at what it takes for them to be FYI, which is financially independent.
Yeah.
FYI, and I think that a lot of people need to understand, like, how much do I need to retire? When you say that to people, they don't have a clue, because they don't really understand. And you know what I mean? And all it is just figuring out how much you spend every month times 12, and say, okay, I want to retire when I'm 60. So let's give or take, I live 30 years from there. I'm going to need that much money, like you just said, to draw in every month, to where I can, and hopefully expenses will be down a little bit, because you're not going to be, still young, and you're not going to shop like you used to. You're not going to probably be running around doing a lot of things like you used to. You probably move around, but you want to be able to know what that goal is. And real estate, like you just said, Larry, gives you that goal. I've met so many people that have bought a house, back in the day, 30, 40 years ago in Alexandria, and sold it and took all that money, like you said, and invested into like a fund, and moved to North Carolina.
Yeah. And,
and get good money from their job retirement and Social Security. And they bought a little small spot, and they're fine. They're happy. And that money's drawing interest. So they're good. You see what I'm saying? So it's just different things like that I think people need to be educated on to understand. And I hate to say it this way, but we got to stop relying on like Social Security and the government, things like that. And I think real estate is one of the well-kept secrets that people can become wealthy off of doing if they go out and purchase. But you got to take that step to purchase that first property. Once you purchase that first, it's kind of like being initiated. You in the club, you understand the process. And now, and you sometimes, I think I get so many calls from buyers say, man, I'm so glad that you told me to buy. I pat myself on the back. I thought I couldn't do it. They realized their life didn't change. Right. Their life didn't change. They're happy, more space, and it's theirs. It's their property. So just step out on faith and do it. That's the whole key.
Yes, that is true.
I definitely.
All right. And so I see we got some action steps here. Charlene, what are some of the action steps a person can start to help them get ready?
Well, again, the number one thing you guys gonna hear us say it over and over and over again. You want to get aligned with a nonprofit, a HUD-approved housing counseling agency. You want to get your own housing counselor. That's step number one. And step number two, once you get with that housing counselor, you really want to, I don't know if you want to call it a forensic audit of your finances, but you really want to go through and look at your finances like to a T. I remember, Larry, you told me this, and I'm still, striving to get there. But you said that when you purchase, Charlene, the ideal goal is to not have any other debt besides your house. And so you definitely want to do that. You want to look at your finances. You want to look at your income, your job. Make sure that you've been there, for 2 years or so. You want to look at your assets. You want to see, how much money do I have? How much money do I need? When do I need this money by? You want to make sure that your credit, I think everybody talks about rates, but having bad credit actually is worse than having a high interest rate. If to my understanding, when I look at, being in this industry, I feel like a person who had poor credit versus someone who got a higher interest rate, sometimes that poor credit score is going to get you a higher monthly payment than that higher interest rate. So you want to go through all of that, guys. You want, again, that housing counselor is extremely important, because when they pass the buck or pass the baton to the lender, for a fact that most likely that file is going in, and you're probably not going to get any type of conditions. You're going to be good to go. So I feel like, Larry, those are some of the steps that an individual should take. And Kite said it, you buying in June, don't try and start this in April and you want to buy in June. Like, that's almost like I met somebody, on a social media dating app. I met him on Friday, and I called Larry and I said, Larry, it's Monday, we get married. Like, oh yeah?
That's without a date. Huh?
Oh, right.
Moving too fast.
On the date yet.
Larry gonna be like, say what? Yeah, y'all, don't do that. Don't wait until you got 90 days in. You put so much pressure on yourself. And then your team as well. You should be probably thinking 6 months out, 12 months out. Let me start this now, so when it's time, I'm ready.
Yes. And and I feel even sometime if you have, I'm gonna say, if you have the urge, or maybe if you're in transition, and transition could be transitioning from high school, transitioning from college, transitioning from the military. When you start getting prepared for a transition, and then of course a job increase or something of that sort. When you start getting close to a transition, it's good to start looking for things that you can transition into along with that movement. And so one is educate yourself. And so it's nothing wrong with a person taking a first-time homebuyer class, and they are not necessarily ready to purchase a home yet. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with a person getting into housing counseling and they are a year out. There's nothing wrong with that. And once you start that process and building that team and working with those professionals. And so Kite, we have a date on Saturday, don't we?
Yes.
And we're gonna have quite a few dates coming up here in the next couple of months.
Yep.
And so what's going on Saturday, Kite?
We are having a first-time homebuyer class at the McCormick building. McCourt building, yes, in Woodbridge, Virginia. So I'm excited to teach and show everyone what it takes to find a good realtor.
Yes. And so he's going to tell you how to find a realtor, a good realtor. Yes, and how it is working with that realtor. And Charlene, what are some of the other sections that are covered in that homebuyer workshop?
So we begin, guys, with the personal finances, as I stated before. Then we go into the role of the lender, credit. We talk about credit and the importance of credit and how that plays a role in the transaction. Then we'll have our lender who will be out there. Brittany Aikman, she'll be out there. We'll be discussing what you can expect from the role of the lender. As Kite Golden stated, he will be there talking about what you can expect from the real estate agent, how to figure out if you got a good real estate agent, some of the terms and things of that nature that you're going to be hearing. We also have Tim with House Masters. He'll be out there, and then we'll be finishing it out with our closer, Anne Marie, who will be there as well. So the great thing that I love about the first time homebuyers class is you have the individuals who are in those industries that work those industries day in and day out, just kind of tell you about some of the things that you can expect. We will not be able to make you an expert in 6 hours. There's just no way. But each individual who's going to stand before you is going to teach you to ask the correct questions in the transaction to make it smoother.
Yes, and I'm going to let our real estate agent ask this question. our broker here.
Right.
Our broker. I'm sorry.
Our broker.
Give me the props there. Yes. What is the advantage of coming to a live workshop versus taking it online?
To me, the live workshop is more up personal. You can, I've never seen an online class, but I can say a personal, you can ask as many questions as you want. You're going to get people, you're going to see them, you can touch them, you can talk to them. You'll be able to ask as many questions as you want. You can put all types of scenarios together. I tell people, if you're going to come, be ready. Write down your questions and have them ready. So when you come, you can get those questions asked. And there's no such thing as a stupid question. Just ask it and we'll get the answer for you.
and also, guys, Larry, you brought this up, just classes in general. You always say someone's going to ask the question that you're thinking.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to ask it. So
Yes. And that when you're online, you can have all the thoughts of question if you want, but there's no one's going to answer it for you. You can Google it or you can call someone, but you have a real live professional there in all these different areas of the home buying process that you can sit there and ask them questions. Of course, they're presenting for a certain amount of time, but they're basically a large portion of the day. Some of them will stay there as long as someone is even their section is over, but they'll stay there longest someone have a question for them and answer those questions. You will get your questions answered, and if they don't, they'll put that question in their pocket and they're going to contact you with the answer if they can answer it on the spot. And so that's what we're there to do, to make sure that you're comfortable moving forward and make sure that you have a roadmap when you leave there. You know what your next action is going to be. And Charlene, one of the main questions you ask when they first get there, you ask them, do they have a date?
And so we're going to make you tell us that date. And I'm not going to, I don't want to hear Charlene, I want to buy in June. No, I want to hear Charlene, I want to close June 17th at 1:00. You know what I'm saying? I want you to manifest this, write it down, put it in your kitchen, put it in your bathroom, somewhere that you can see what you said to yourself. We want to see that. And we're going to stalk you. Sign up for that pre-purchase counseling, and I'm going to personally stalk you until you get to the finish line.
Okay. And we're not there to push you, pressure you, or sell you. And so if you say your date is 1 June, then that's your date you decided with. If you say it's December 31st, 2027, then that's your date. And so you set the date, and we're there to help you step by step along the process, cheer you a long way, and we will be there with you. We want to celebrate. Matter of fact, we want you all to come back, maybe come on this, whether it's on this webinar or live. Today we had a Rock Your Block show, an interview. And so come there and share your story, whether you can do it online, you can do written comments, posts, but also come to our live events and share your journey and your story so that you encourage others to come along this journey. And we want to be with them as well. So I want to say thank you for tonight. And also the other announcements, other than Saturday, we have our first time workshop, and we have quite a bit of those scheduled on a monthly basis. The season is coming. So continue to check our website out for upcoming workshops. Also on Monday, we have yoga with Tippy. So join us on Monday, get in right spirit of mind. We already got the next year planned for that. So look for our social media post as well. Join us on all the social media platforms, and get the notifications, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook and also Instagram. We have a big event coming up. We have a big event on short sales that's coming up. I know today was talking more on pre-purchase, but we're not going to forget about our homeowners out there, because it's not about just buying a house. It's talking about stability and financial stability, housing stability, and also understanding all your options if you're having challenges with your mortgage. So we do have a short sale class coming up. That is going to be for homeowners. It is a lunch and learn. It's on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. That's March
the 12th.
March the 12th. Okay, so sign up for that. Now we moved it from a Friday to a Thursday. So it's going to be on March the 12th at 12 noon. So why don't you go ahead and register for that? That is out on our website. And also you have it on social media. It would be a virtual event, and Kite will be the presenter for that lunch and learn. So get your lunch together. We're not saying miss your lunch. Bring your lunch and learn at the same time as on March the 12th. So sign up for that. And we have some other events coming up for the summer. I won't go down the list, but continue to follow us. And we look forward to seeing you again next Thursday for our Thriving Thursday Live. So again, thank you, Kite, Charlene, and our audience. You have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.